1915, shortly after his own son had been killed on the battlefield of Lewis on his first day in action, Rudyard Kipling wrote a poem which expressed his feelings about the way in which the war was being managed. They shall not return to us, the resolute, the young, the eager and wholehearted whom we gave, but the men who left them thriftily to die in their own dung, shall they come with years and honour to the grave? They shall not return to us, the strong men coldly slain, in sight of help denied from day to day, but the men who edged their agonies and chid them in their pain, are they too strong and wise to put away? Our dead shall not return to us, while day and night divide, never while the bars of sunset hold. But the idle-minded overlings who quibbled while they died, shall they thrust for high employment as of old? Shall we only threaten and be angry for an hour? When the storm is ended, shall we find how softly but how swiftly they have sidled back to power by the favour and contrivance of their kind? Even while they soothe us, while they promise large amends, even while they make a show of fear, do they call upon their debtors and take counsel with their friends to conform and re-establish each career? Their lives cannot repay us. Their death could not undo the shame that they have laid upon our race. But the slothfulness that wasted and the arrogance that slew, shall we leave it unabated in its place?
I was born in Hungary at the time when Hungary was occupied by the Russians. In 1956 there was a revolution against the Russians, which sadly the country lost, and my mother decided that she wanted her children to grow up in a democratic country. So she grabbed us, jumped on the last possible train that was going towards Vienna, and we became refugees.
So I am the daughter of Cypriot immigrants. I was born in the UK, so I'm a UK Greek Cypriot, but those roots that take me all the way back to Cyprus have very much influenced not only my life in general, but my own take on family, on identity, on unity, and the importance of holding on to those things that make us different from some of the people around us.
And there are many differences between today and what was happening in the 1930s across the Western world. But there are many obvious similarities. One is we've had this massive economic crisis across much of the whole world since 2008, and grinding austerity, which has meant living standards have just been either stagnating or declining for most people. And people are very resentful. They're looking for people to blame. They want some answers, they want some solutions, and this is similar to what was happening in the 1930s after the 28, the great stock market crash then. And it's in both cases that you get this scapegoating, this blaming of immigrants, or this blaming of people who aren't considered to be part of society, Jews then, nowadays Muslims and other immigrants in Western societies. And it's still part of the same economic problem that we have, is that this capitalist system that we live in doesn't seem to be able to get itself out of these crises without committing appalling crimes. So after the stock market crash in the late 1920s, the Western world was in this massive crisis. It was only really resolved by a war which killed 60 million people. And then you had another economic boom in the 60s, and we've all lived, sort of through that, those of us of a certain age. And we've now had this other massive crisis, and it doesn't appear that the capitalist system can get out of it, and it's looking for ways to get out of it, and it hasn't got any that it's happy with implementing. And so again, it's doing the same thing. The politicians are now going down the same route they went down in the 30s. Let's blame the foreigners, the immigrants, they're the cause of all the problems. If only they weren't here, we'd have no problems. Now, no one who studies economics, no one who looks at it just carefully, it doesn't make any sense. If all the people who are coming on small boats and migrating to this country weren't here, there still would be not enough money for the health service, not enough money for welfare provision, not enough jobs, wages would still be too low. It makes no difference at all. This is just the most ridiculous scapegoating. What we need is a society based around human needs, not around making profits. But that's a sort of a bigger question, and one that isn't even allowed to be discussed certainly in British politics and American politics.